never one to miss an opportunity just to say that the first conversation between Cape Town Air Access and Rwanda was actually initiated at AviaDev 2017 in Kigali. So that's power, proof of the power. And it's since they started with a CRJ and then started moving into a 737. And who knows, we're just going to keep going, and that demand keeps driving. So it really does show the power. So to provide the welcome remarks on behalf of our other co-hosts today, we have Deon Cloete, who is the General Manager of Cape Town International Airport. So Deon, please come and join us and provide your opening remarks. Thank you.
I must say to Tim, I'm not sure he's going to win that bet on the tie. If you pass John Cloete, you actually need a set of Ray-Bans. But I also remember what he wore last year, and I know he stepped up this year. But it's good to keep the competition open. Good people, thank you very much to the organizers, John and the team, and to everyone that is attending here today. It's really fantastic that it's in Cape Town, second year running. This event is a platform where we've got the right people in the room and we have the right conversations. And certainly it can only augur well and build well in terms of what we've done. Tim has done a very appropriate introduction in terms of this part of the world, what has been happening. As the airports company, we're very proud to be part of that partnership. In fact, being one of the founding members when we started in 2015. And we also, in terms of our Vision 2025 strategy, we want to be the most sought-after partner in the world of provision of sustainable airport management solutions. So the fact that we have the partnership already embedded in that vision speaks to why this collaboration is not only important, but possibly why it's working. It's been a fantastic opportunity for us to make sure that we play our part as an airports company, but also as part of the air access team to make sure that we're creating a city for the future, a winning city, a city that will in future thrive. If you have air access and if you're able to create global access into your city, it's been said that it's not countries that will compete in future, it will be cities. So in line with that, if you are able to bring this to play, you strongly build on what is also referred to as the Aerotropolis, and if you start integrating your planning and everything you do from an investment perspective and your social imperatives, it really starts to make a lot of sense. So for us as the airports company, it's been an absolute privilege. I must just briefly say on what Tim has reflected on, that growth. I remember when we started, I think initially the brief to the team was bring us 4 new routes. A focus that obviously on the African routes, but if you look at the total, I think we're on a running total, we're now on 13 new routes and something like 18 expanded routes. And that route development would have never been possible if it wasn't for the collaboration. So the initial brief of 4, fortunately the team didn't listen to us, they went way beyond that. And it's fantastic, but it does, as Tim says, also show that there is a model that we can also take further and use it elsewhere to create the same type of value. The next 2 days, I think, is going to be exciting. The lineup is certainly high impact. We're going to have certainly have the right conversations, anything from policy and open skies to what is the benefit of new route development. What type of financing options you have around investment and infrastructure. And then very important, I believe, is the issue of innovation. How are we going to innovate and create an airport for the future? I thought it might be appropriate. I had the benefit. We have an economist in the company, and he's just shared the most recent ACI Airport Economics Report. I think it's just been recently released. And from that emerged a few critical things that I thought might just be relevant. It speaks of the global GDP in recent times have been 3.7%, whereas emerging countries, and particularly if you look at what's happening on the continent, is at more at 4.7%. These trends are forecasted to continue for the next 2, or let me say for the foreseeable future. And airport revenue growth has been in the region of $172 billion US, which is up 6.2%. That growth has mainly been, if you look at it, on the back of passenger growth. So the revenue per pax is stable. 2016-17, Europe really showed strong growth, and then 17-18, Africa came in, and the growth shifted to Africa. So the passenger traffic for Africa moved from 6.3 to 9.9. That's a fantastic number. It just speaks to what's happening on the continent, and it really underscores the fact that if you don't have an Africa strategy, you don't have a growth strategy, regardless of who you might be. Obviously, the growth at that level, if you compare to industry, which hovers between 4 and 6%, it's really meaningful. The only other two regions which really stepped up in terms of growth seems to be North and South America. So it's very interesting when Tim reflects on the new route to the USA. Cargo has also shifted. Our cargo numbers at the airport has been fantastic since the advent of air access. With the additional routes, our cargo has jumped up 50%. And certainly that cargo is a very important element for the airlines that are trying to make sure that when they start operating into the airports, they create a long-term sustainable model. Because as much as the new routes are important to us, we certainly put a lot of emphasis on retention of the current players. So certainly with that background and context, you can only but have comfort and confidence that we are poised for growth and our ability to respond to that. So the airports company in Cape Town, and it's not a recent development, we've been busy a couple of years now preparing for this high growth scenario, and we have been involved in a number of activities, land acquisitions, consolidating the properties, master planning, going through EIO processes for our new investments. And I'm happy to say, and I must just acknowledge in the room, we've got the two CEOs of the two airline associations, Asa and Basa, got June and Chris. It's been a journey with the airline industry at large to make sure that we engage around these developments, make sure that these investments are appropriate given the growth. And it really is fantastic to have that validation, to see the numbers the way they've come through. Because when we invest, other than airlines, we invest, and when you start pouring concrete and putting infrastructure into the ground, you commit to that until you complete it, and then obviously you have to make it work. So we've got 3 very large investments, and I must just use that opportunity to say we're launching all 3 of them, start construction next year. Here in Cape Town alone, for the group of AXA, there's a number of other projects also, particularly at OR Tambo. So AXA is still committed to the investment program, just locally, in local currency, South African rands. We're going to be spending 7 billion South African rands over the next 5 years. That's a very significant investment spread over the realignment of the runway, a new runway that would also allow for additional frequencies per hour, at least 50% more. We're also investing in a new international terminal because, as you can imagine, our terminal is starting to get very small with the growth we've seen, and then also the domestic terminal arrivals are also being upgraded. So these 3 projects are all going to market later this year, and construction is starting next year. With that investment, we obviously, apart from the volume, we put a lot of focus on the quality. Industry recognition such as Skytrax and ACI is important, because volume without quality really is not meaningful over the long term. So we continue to do that. And then very importantly is that we use these assets, and when we invest, to really drive economic growth in the region and social change. As you might know, as a country and as a region, and particularly where the airport is embedded in the Metro Southeast, as we refer to it, it's really where the opportunity and the need is most for growth and development. And it's on the back of this growth, on the back of this investment, that everything and anything we do, we really put a focus on how it would also benefit the communities, to the extent and to the point of saying to contractors that when you are involved in our space and get involved in our projects, unless you demonstrate how you touch the lives and change the social cohesion impact and narrative socially, we can't take you serious. So we're looking forward to that. I think, colleagues, we can agree we're all poised for a wonderful opportunity of growth. It's really going to be the opportunity. You have to be nimble, have to be focused, dedicated, make sure that you keep chipping away. Resilience is going to be important. And I think, John, I must just say in closing that this platform that you have created with the team is really fantastic. It really gives us the opportunity to have meaningful conversations. I also just want to wish everyone all the best with your deliberations. Use the opportunity, and may everyone have a successful conference. Thank you very much.